Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on 5 strategies to keep in mind when planning your IT budget. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. My name is Cherubina, and I'm a product expert at Analytics Plus, ManageEngine's IT analytics solution. Before we get started, I'd like to share with you all some useful information about our session today. If you have any questions during the course of this webinar, feel free to type them in using the chat icon on the left panel of your screen, and I'll do my best to address your questions towards the end of the webinar. In the event that we run short on time, I'll respond to your questions later via email. You can also choose to email your questions to me directly using the email address that's flashing on your screen. Over the course of today's session, we will be discussing 5 strategies that play a critical role in implementing an accurate IT budget that is tailored to your organization's unique usage trends and requirements. A successful IT budget is wholly dependent on CIO's ability to analyze, decipher, and forecast organizational needs. In diverse organizations, this involves various elements that prove difficult to stay on top of. Coordinating with multiple departments and their varied requirements, assets, and expenses, intricate interdepartmental objectives, and much more. In such cases, building a budget that accurately represents every facet of IT can be a time-consuming task. However, simply penning down a decent IT budget is not going to cut it. In the current economic scenario, CIOs need to take financial budgeting a step further to implement a budget which serves as a strategic tool that facilitates business development and IT growth. This enhancement equips organizations with a powerful competitive edge that will go a long way in ensuring business sustainability. Beyond representing your organization's current positioning, objectives, and requirements, the IT budget should also ideally reflect your organization's long-term IT strategy. Clearly, today's IT budget is not a mere expense sheet and can be wielded to accomplish far more. Let's find out how to strategize and build an accurate IT budget using AI-powered analytics. The ideal starting point in a CIO's IT budgeting journey is identifying the major cost drivers and their criticality and impact within the organization. Without analyzing the organization's ongoing expenses accurately, you fail to draw an accurate projections for the upcoming year. There are 3 main expenses that originate from an IT department: help desk costs, the cost of application repairs, and the costs raked up during cybersecurity breaches. Let's start by looking at the various costs incurred within an IT help desk. It is no secret that a help desk is considered IT's biggest cost center. Given the multitude of incident and service requests handled by your IT support team, it's no surprise that costs pile up. As such, the IT help desk is often subjected to various cost-cutting strategies in the attempt to curb organizational expenses. These cost optimization strategies may often bear fruit, which sees lowered costs in the help desk. But on the other hand, the IT help desk also faces the brunt of major organizational shifts and events, which results in increased help desk costs. Be it a merger or even a cybersecurity breach, employees inevitably turn to the service desk for resolutions, and IT ticket costs begin to pile up. Clearly, help desk costs rarely follow a linear trend and are often subject to variances due to other departmental strategies. Beyond merely accounting for the standard incident and service costs, it is critical that a strategic IT budget should also analyze and account for these variances in help desk expenses accurately. Such varying costs can be challenging to predict and must be navigated carefully when creating a budget plan. Here's how a smart analytics platform can help in this scenario. By generating a detailed analysis that tracks help desk costs over the last year, IT managers can decipher trends and establish correlations between past expenses and organizational strategies. These findings can then be passed on to CIOs and leveraged to streamline the overall IT budget. Let's see how we can create this visualization. And instead of building this analysis in the traditional manner, I'm going to turn to Analytics Plus's smart AI powered assistant, Zia, to quickly generate the required visualization. So, by simply striking up a conversation with Zia, either through text or voice, IT leaders can effortlessly access detailed insights as Zia generates the requested visualization within seconds. This visualization analyzes the total cost incurred by a help desk over the last year. This cost is computed based on IT incident costs, service request costs, the total cost of ownership of various IT assets, and other miscellaneous charges. On careful analysis of this visualization, you can identify a sudden drop in expenses in the third quarter and a sharp incline in the last 2 months of the year. By digging deeper into organizational changes and strategies during these specific periods, you can identify that an organization wide cost optimization strategy was implemented in the third quarter, which directly resulted in lowered help desk costs. And the sudden boom in business and the subsequent human resource expansion in the latter months of the year resulted in increased help desk costs during that period. When faced with such varying strategies and costs, how do you accurately compute IT expenses for the coming fiscal year? A good way forward is to carefully account for shifts in the organization's strategies while computing IT expenses. To further strengthen your presumed calculation, you can turn to Analytics Plus's powerful forecasting engine. In a few quick steps, you can apply AI enriched algorithms to the generated insights. This nifty functionality allows IT managers to easily predict IT help desk costs while accounting for varying organizational changes. In addition to service and incident costs, an IT department also incurs a hefty sum due to faulty applications. Despite tailored application maintenance schedules, applications often experience breakages and result in business interruptions and downtimes. When accounting for both direct costs, such as detection, containment, and recovery costs, and also indirect costs like labor, overtime, and legal fees, the true cost of application downtime quickly piles up. And failure to account for these costs will inevitably see CIOs struggling to sign off on last minute asset replacements and fixes. This visualization tracks every application breakage that occurred prior to its scheduled maintenance date and their corresponding repair or replacement costs. Frequent application breakages identified in this analysis is a good sign that your organization's application maintenance strategy can benefit from strategic improvements. IT managers, however, can leverage this visualization to track the cost of application replacements and ensure a sufficient buffer is allocated to tackle such unforeseen downtimes. When setting aside funds in preparation for adverse scenarios, it is good practice to also look into and account for the costs incurred due to cybersecurity breaches. Though not a common occurrence, a critical cybersecurity breach can have far reaching implications for an organization's finances. In addition to hefty data and application recovery costs, a breach also brings with it the inevitable loss in market value and possible customer attrition, all of which makes a cybersecurity breach a critical complication and a cost drain for CIOs. This visualization identifies the various cybersecurity breaches that have occurred in the last year and lists the subsequent expenses incurred as a result of those breaches. While the phishing attempt that occurred in April was on a smaller scale, the data exfiltration attack that was carried out in June left a larger impact on the organization and its finances. When looking to set aside funds to tackle such security breaches, it is best to ensure a sufficient buffer is available based on past expenses incurred. This gives businesses the financial ability to recover and shake off the impact of critical cybersecurity breaches. In addition to cybersecurity costs, audit and compliance fees are another costly cross to bear by organizations worldwide. Despite vigilant monitoring and regulation, your organization may be slapped with compliance fees that sets you back a decent sum. When creating a budget, it's advisable to foresee such fixed one-time payments and set aside sufficient buffers. This analysis acts as a handy guide that allows CIOs to stay on top of every regulatory and audit fine the organization was subject to over the last few years. Such fixed payments are easy to identify and calculate, and it is good practice to earmark corresponding funds in future budgets. We have identified and computed the variable and fixed expenses that permeate an IT department. But what of asset purchase costs? The cost of an IT asset can range beyond mere purchase cost and includes the expenses incurred over the course of asset maintenance and upgrades. Identifying the standard number of assets required to ensure seamless business operations is fairly straightforward. However, varying business requirements and organizational changes can impact this number. A strategic budget should take into account business seasonality, organizational changes, and economic downturns and adjust the organization's asset purchases accordingly. Let us see how an advanced analytics platform can help achieve this. This visualization tracks the historical asset consumption in the organization and unearths steep variances in asset usage. On careful analysis, you can infer that the beginning of each quarter sees an influx of new employees, which can then be directly correlated to the sharp increase in the number of asset purchases. Financial leaders can also leverage this analysis to visualize changes in asset consumption as employees are onboarded in real time. To accomplish this, simply make use of Analytics Plus's intuitive scenario analysis functionality. By varying the number of employees onboarded into the organization using the filter at the top of this visualization, you can visualize the corresponding changes to the number of assets used across your organization. This analysis therefore acts as a handy tool in gaining crucial insights into the impact on asset requirements as employee onboarding face seasonal fluctuations. By visualizing and decoding the seasonal patterns in employee behavior and asset usage, CIOs can adjust asset purchase plans in the IT budget to reflect business seasonality accurately. We have successfully decoded asset acquisition by identifying the exact quantity of assets required based on business seasonality. But why stop there? Let's see if we can streamline the IT budget to better reflect costs incurred across various stages of an asset's lifecycle. Every IT asset goes through cyclic stages that comprise of planning, acquisition, deployment, maintenance, and disposal. Of these five stages, second to acquisition, the disposal and maintenance stages hold the highest effect on an organization's expenses. Several organizations use assets beyond their disposal dates and postpone replacements in an attempt to draw the most benefits out of those assets. However, it is good practice to avoid delayed disposals and replacements in the hopes of saving costs in the short run. In using these outdated hardware and software assets, you expose your organization to a variety of expensive risks ranging from data loss to critical cybersecurity breaches. This matrix visualization ropes in data from your IT asset management application to identify devices that are operating past their disposal dates. IT leaders can leverage this visualization to dispose of every outdated hardware and software asset. On disposing of these outdated assets, you will need to provide appropriate replacements instantly to avoid critical business interruptions. This visualization also computes and displays the replacement cost of each outdated asset. When strategizing purchase plans for IT assets, it is recommended to take assets disposal dates into account and reserve sufficient funds for replacements and upgrades accordingly. Beyond timely disposals, software and hardware assets also require timely maintenance and upgrades to facilitate continued business operations. And failing to stick to these scheduled maintenance cycles will result in unplanned breakages and downtime, and again, leave your organization open to security risks. While we previously built an analysis that helped organizations streamline their asset purchase budget and schedule, let's now look towards leveraging analytics to streamline asset maintenance costs. Periodic asset maintenance can rake up large sums, and IT managers should ensure these cyclic expenses are accounted for in the IT budget as well. This analysis tracks each asset type's maintenance schedule and the corresponding costs for hardware maintenance and software upgrades. CIOs can leverage this handy analysis to allocate sufficient funds at accurate intervals to ensure uninterrupted application performance. So far, we've taken into account asset useful life and organizational seasonality trends and adjusted the IT budget to reflect these expenses accurately. However, to construct a truly strategic and efficient budget, CIOs have to look towards business expansions and its subsequent impact on an organization's finances. Implementing an IT budget without a clear visual of business growth and requirements will result in an inaccurate allocation of funds that critically impedes organizational growth. For instance, human resource expansion might not require as much of an investment as a stronger focus on research and development. An efficient IT budget should optimally reflect and facilitate these varying expansions and growth. However, this is easier said than done. For a clear understanding of the organization's vision for the upcoming year, seamless cooperation and visibility is required across the various departments in the organization. To accomplish this, an organization should move beyond siloed mode of operations to incorporate a unified platform that provides comprehensive end-to-end insights into the organization's processes and operations. This visualization intuitively pulls in data from various departments to display the departmental growth over the last year, the funds that were allocated to facilitate that growth, and the actual expenses that were incurred by the department's growth. This smart analysis proves highly beneficial in providing clear insights into how each department is expensing the allocated funds. For instance, most of the cash that was allocated to the HR team was left untouched, while the IT service desk has blown past its allocated budget. This would have likely seen service managers reaching out to CIOs for additional funds to meet the expanding help desk requirements. To avoid such last-minute scrambles, CIOs can simply leverage this visualization to identify business expansions and budget requirements and structure the IT budget to reflect these expansions preemptively. Our session thus far has covered major IT expenses that should be included in the budget and identified ways to adjust the budget for usage and seasonality trends, asset life cycles, and business expansions. However, before implementing this carefully curated budget plan, it is wise to look towards past budgets and their implementation. This helps CIOs gain vital insights into the organizational budget's shortcomings in the past and wield these insights to streamline the future budget better. This analysis tracks the organization's monthly spending over the last year and allows CIOs to visualize the funds allocated to each month against the actual expenses incurred. The benefits of this particular visualization are twofold. You can leverage this to understand the variances and shortcomings in past budgets, and also use the same analytical framework to track the performance of your current budget plan. Let's look at the first scenario. On average, you can infer that the allocated funds were nearly exhausted at the end of each month. Careful analysis uncovers that while some months went slightly over the allocated budget, the actual expenses overshot the estimated amount by a large sum during the months of November and December. This overall trend tells us that the organization would benefit from some additional funds allocation. However, blindly allocating additional funds might leave some departments with excess funds and others strapped for cash. A smarter implementation would be to leverage AI-powered analytics to identify the costs behind the variance in budget allocation and consumption and work the insights into future budget plans. By correlating this analysis with our primary visualization on help desk expenses, you can infer that the surge in expenses across November and December originated from the IT help desk, an inevitable result to the mass employee onboarding that was carried out during that period. This helps CIOs restructure budget plans such that additional funds are allocated to the right department when similar strategies are executed. This visualization thus acts as a great tool that allows organizations to learn from past performance and apply the unearthed insights to future budget plans. This strategy goes a long way in streamlining the IT budget and ensuring it reflects your organization's unique usage trends. Alternatively, CIOs can also revisit this visualization once they have implemented an IT budget and leverage these insights to stay up to date on their budget's allocation and performance. By feeding current data to this analysis, CIOs can leverage the generated insights to understand if excess funds have been allocated, which can then be immediately put towards other vital business operations. By identifying instances where your expenses were more than planned for the month, you can quickly adjust organizational spending in the following month to avoid any hiccups. To gain better insight into current budget allocation, let us modify the previous visualization to include an additional metric that tracks the actual amount that spills over at the end of each month. By keeping an eye on the actual funds that are remaining, CIOs can gain valuable insight into the rate at which your organization is burning through the allocated IT budget. And with that final step, we have successfully built a strategic IT budget by calculating major IT expenses and uncovered ways to adjust the IT budget based on business seasonality, expansion, and usage trends. The 5 steps detailed in this webinar go a long way in establishing an IT budget that goes beyond mere financial planning to facilitate strategic transformation and business sustainability. Let me quickly summarize everything we discussed over the course of our session today. Identifying major IT cost drivers. An IT department is riddled with a wide spectrum of expenses, and a good chunk of these IT expenses originate from the help desk, which faces varying costs due to changing organizational strategies that end up impacting the health service desk. Other major IT expenses stem from the cost of cybersecurity breaches, application repairs, regulatory and compliance fees. The natural starting point for any IT budget is to accurately analyze and budget for these varying expenses. Accounting for seasonality trends. Beyond these IT expenses, a good portion of an IT budget goes towards the organization's assets. To streamline and budget asset purchases, track changes in asset requirements based on seasonal trends such as employee onboarding. Structuring the IT budget based on assets' useful life. Asset maintenance and disposal costs contribute heavily to an organization's expenses. Understand asset longevity to streamline maintenance and disposal cycles, and modify the IT budget to reflect these cyclic expenses accurately. Tracking business expansion and its effect on budget allocation. Expanding business avenues are allocated with a sufficient budget that facilitates the projected growth. This, this can be accomplished by tracking business growth across various departments and the corresponding budget that was utilized to facilitate that growth. Identifying variances in past budgets. It is good practice to apply learnings from past budget implementations towards the future budget plan. In addition to simply tracking variances in budget allocation and usage, you can dig deeper to uncover the reason behind those variances. These insights can then be leveraged to create a more accurate budget plan for the upcoming year. Once the new budget is implemented, CIOs can head back to this visualization and also keep a close eye on its performance by tracking the monthly allocated and used budgets and the actual funds remaining at the end of each month. This particular usage goes a long way in identifying if excess or insufficient funds were allocated, which can then be reallocated instantly towards vital business operations. The reports we covered over the course of this webinar were built using Analytics Plus, ManageEngine's AI-powered IT analytics solution, using data spanning across various IT applications. Beyond offering comprehensive analytical capabilities, Analytics Plus also provides out-of-the-box integrations with several IT applications. This includes various ManageEngine applications like Service Desk Plus, Endpoint Central, Applications Manager, PAM 360 to name a few. The Advanced Analytics platform also provides pre-built analytics for various third-party IT applications such as Jira Software, Zendesk, and ServiceNow. The primary benefit of these out-of-the-box integrations lies in the fact that it can be configured within mere minutes, post which you can access more than 300 pre-built reports and dashboards. So if you would like to attain a hands-on experience and apply these detailed visualizations over your company's data, all you need to do is sign up or download the Analytics Plus free trial and set up the integrations to access insightful reports and dashboards. Beyond offering out-of-the-box insights for major IT applications, Analytics Plus continually strives to facilitate self-service on every level of its platform. A key player that facilitates this is our AI-driven analytics assistant, Zia. If you're just getting started with analytics and find BI tools to be daunting, well, Zia is your new best friend. All you have to do is strike up a conversation with Zia, either via text or voice, and Zia will automatically generate the insights required to further your analytics journey. While this removes the task of having to build a report yourself, understanding and breaking down the information displayed in the visualization can take up a lot of time. Well, we've got you covered even then. With ZIA Insights, you can quickly attain narrative and detailed information of your analysis at the mere click of a button. This feature proves beneficial, especially in cases where immediate action is crucial in putting out the fires in your organization. You can also leverage ZIA's conversational prowess to dig deeper into your data and uncover hidden information, and perform root cause analysis, and also use the forecasting engine to foresee future trends to modify business strategies accurately. Another beneficial and handy feature in Analytics Plus is a scenario analysis functionality. Using what if analysis, you can execute powerful scenario analysis over your reports to visualize various outcomes based on a deciding factor. By understanding the business impact when changes occur ahead of time, you can adjust your strategies to achieve business objectives with ease. You can also set up threshold-based alerts for your reports and get notified via in-app alerts or email. This particular feature saves you the trouble of having to recheck your reports manually to avoid missing out on business critical changes. And this is also very handy in notifying you of suspicious activities that occur within your organization. So that was a brief overview of the Analytics Plus application. And it looks like we have a few minutes left for a quick Q&A session. I'm going to pause here for a few seconds so that you can go ahead and type in your questions. Okay, so the first question we have here today is, can I bring in or analyze data from any IT application or only analyze data from Manage Engine's range of products? You can easily import data from any service desk or any other IT application into Analytics Plus and attain detailed insights into your organization's operations with ease. So, Analytics Plus's AI-powered platform facilitates self-service from its drag and drop report builder to the AI assistant ZIA, which all of which provides users with the tools required to build insightful visualizations within minutes. The second question I have here is, how do you visualize these reports over your own organization's data? So simply access the on-premises version or the cloud version of Analytics Plus and import data from your various applications into the IT Analytics platform. From there, it's as simple as dragging and dropping the required columns to build the visualizations we discussed today. Alternatively, you can also head to our AI Assistant ZIA, as we did at the beginning of the session. Type in your questions, and ZIA will build the visualizations for you. The next question I have here is, I have data present in multiple applications that I would like to analyze. Is it possible to configure a unified setup for this? Yes, you can easily blend data from different IT applications and attain unified, comprehensive insights into your organization's multitude of assets, employees, and applications to get a holistic view of your organization's expenses. Additionally, we also offer pre-built blended analytics for a variety of applications, which can be configured within minutes, as a result of which you get a range of reports and dashboards based on that blended data. So that brings us to the end of the questions and answers section. We've covered a lot of information through the course of this session, and I hope you benefit from this webinar. If you'd like to try out these reports for yourself, you can quickly download or sign up to the Manage Engine Analytics Plus application, which provides a free, all-inclusive 30-day trial. Simply scan the QR code that's flashing on your screen to head to the sign-up page. From there, you can either download the on-premise version or sign up to the cloud version and get the application running with ease. Once that's done, it should take you mere minutes to set up any integration and access all the pre-built reports and dashboards. And with that, we have reached the end of the session. So that's about it from me, folks. If you had any questions or concerns during the session, please do contact me using the email address that's on your screen right now. I'd truly love to hear from you. Thank you for taking the time to join the session today. Take care, everyone. Have a great day ahead.